People trash the 60s, you know. The 60s really is the reason that we have any kind of progress, I think.
Right. And a lot of things happened.
Even though it was a crazy time. I mean, I went through it myself, and we were, you know, we were all a little whacked out in those days.
I was going to say, a lot of us don't remember the 60s, but some good stuff happened.
The civil rights legislations wouldn't have happened without a lot of turmoil and everything, and that's when it was.
And that's why people are annoyed with Senator Lott's comments. And I think what annoys me is him saying he's sorry if he upset people. Upset's not the right word. It's insulted people. Because it's not about being your feelings hurt. The contributions of all of us and the civil rights legislation that allows, look at the multiracial panel that sits here today. That would not have occurred if Strom Thurmond would have been elected president in 1948, or at least it would not have occurred in the same manner. So that was the insult, and he's got to get that first.
Well, the Republicans are meeting on January 6th.
The president
to decide what happens to him.
But Bush has already pretty much said bye-bye. I mean, in different ways, he's saying it already.
Yeah, well, it's almost like negating everything, all the struggles that people went through during the civil rights movement. It's almost like, oh, that didn't exist. People didn't really know who Martin Luther King was.
There is a little overkill, though, I have to say. There is a lot. We're talking about it quite a bit. And there are other racists in Congress, probably, that are sneaking by.
They scared right now because that means Skeleton is about to pop out the closet just like that. Bam, all kinds of stuff.
Okay, well, you know, Mariah's musical director and producer, Randy Jackson, is in the audience.
Yay!
You may know him as one of the judges from American Idol.
And we say, you know what, that's not the way to greet him.
What do we say?
The way you greet him is Randy. That's the way he always started.
Suck it up.
Oh, believe me. I was a big fan of American Idol. Whenever he was about to critique someone, he started by saying their name 3 times. Am I right?
Absolutely correct. I just wanted them to hear me, you know what I mean?
That's right. And I think
because he's a loving person. He doesn't want to give, you know, too much criticism without being, you know, careful of that person's feelings.
Well, how to counteract that other guy, the Brit, who was like vicious, wasn't he? What was his name?
Simon.
Yeah, he was nasty. I want to ask you something, though, because there was a story recently about how the girl who won,
Kelly Clarkson,
was not an amateur. Do you know about that?
Yeah, no,
but she was actually a pro.
I think a lot of these kids have been through a lot of different things that didn't happen. But I think she was definitely in the clear when she did this show. So I don't think there's a problem with that.
Oh, she wasn't producing songs at the time?
Yeah, but I think, you know what happens.
Does that count if you've already like written songs?
You have to sign
like, if I had my demos the way I was when I was a kid.
If Mariah was
you
up for
first
the
met me,
Idol?
when I had already had a demo tape, would I have been eligible?
If you weren't signed to a contract,
prior to being signed.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you
because I think a lot of people
producer.
do that. You know what I mean?
I'm still grateful that y'all dumped Tamara. Because you know Tamara was my girl.
We didn't dump Tamara.
America
the audience did.
Yeah, America just...
I got feelings for her.
That was a tough one for me, too.
I had to boycott y'all for a week on that. I'm going to tell you.
He was upset because I was in Italy and he called me and said...
that was a tough one.
You know, it's funny because I performed cabaret on this show once, and I gave the tape to Simon to review, and he refused to review it. The little wimp. Yeah, because he didn't want to hurt me.
Oh.
That's true.
I can't believe you're bringing this up.
I can't. I'm never going to get over it. Just like you will never get over it. I wanted him to review it.
Send it to me next time.
Will you review it?
Of course.
All right, I will.
And he's
I'll
very
send
diplomatic.
It to you.
Be careful what you say.
Okay, all right.
He'll start off with Meredith.
Before we go, I want to bring up Gary Condit before we go, because you know he is suing Dominic Dunn, the writer, for $11 million because Dunn wrote an article alleging that Condit was involved in a sex ring of Arab diplomats who killed Chandra Levy and dumped her body into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, there's no love lost between a lot of Americans and Condit, but doesn't he have a case here? I mean, her body was not dumped into the Atlantic Ocean. It was found in woods. He was never charged with anything, and his reputation is mud, dirt, worse than that.
He's going to have a real hard time, Mr. Dunn is, because the arguments for defamation, they at least sit there. Problem is going to be is there's such a higher standard when you're a public person. That's what allows people, I mean, Mariah, if there's Exhibit A, people can say anything.
True, untrue, you know,
and the
it
higher
doesn't matter.
standard is...
Does it bother you when they do that a lot?
You know what? After a certain point, it starts to amuse you. Like, when they get that ridiculous, it becomes like your own entertainment. But it is difficult. I mean, you guys experience it, I'm sure.
What's worse? I'm curious for you. When they print a gossip item that's wrong or hurtful in some way, or a bad review, which hurts more?
Sometimes it really depends on the review. If you can clearly tell that the person is not a fan and never has been a fan, like there's one guy who's hated me since the beginning of my career, yet he always reviews my albums. I'm like, you know, the man hates me.
Yeah.
Why is he the one in charge?
You need to tell his name because that's what we do here.
Yeah.
We drag him out.
If you want to get that from me,
We drag the rats out of their holes and expose them to the light.
There's enough rats out there. I guess.
But wait, it's even better, Mariah. Let's not say his name. He knows his name.
He knows who he is.
He's sitting there hoping that you say his name. And you quickly ignore him.
Exactly.
Be gone, miscellaneous man.
He had his little typewriter, and you're here, honey, okay?
Exactly.
And there's the difference. All right. You know, I don't know if you guys know this.
We don't hate the press. It's only certain members of people.
Of course.
You know.
It's when they're personal. So you can always criticize your music or whatever you do.
Well, that's not a critic.
But
If you've got an axe to grind at the same time, you're not being
Right.
a critic.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to talk about royal family when we get back because things are getting very hairy for one of the members. I'll explain when we have more hot topics.
That's me.